Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. Today, this is going to be a short episode. We have Ellis Hammond. He is he's leading Symphony Capital Group through the acquisition of more than $87 million of commercial and multifamily real estate in 2021. He also founded the Kingdom. What's REI stand for? Real Estate Investment. All right. Real estate investment mastermind and a coaching, which is a mastermind coaching community for faith-driven real estate investors who want to multiply their real estate portfolio, income, and impact through joint ventures and collaborations. And Ellis' career began as a full-time college pastor. He saw firsthand the need for marketplace leaders focused on creating profit to support impact ventures like his own. He began purchasing real estate in 2018 and began to build a team to support his growing portfolio. And he has two podcasts, the Kingdom Real Estate Investing podcast and the Future of Real Estate podcast. And right now, he just did one of or the biggest deal in his career, which I'm excited to talk about. So Ellis, thank you very much for being here, man, and making some time. I really appreciate it. And you're welcome, man.
Hey, this is a pleasure, Alex. I'm really pumped to be here, man. Thank you for having me. Your story is something that I think a lot of folks can learn from, and that we all, man, God can redeem us all and put us on a path worth going after. And that's my story too. And so excited to share a little bit today.
Awesome. So actually, the first thing that I do with my guest is I tell them to tell the audience about their entrepreneurial journey in 75 seconds or less.
You got me on the clock?
Yeah, I got to hear.
I was a full-time college pastor, actually, for about 4 years. And that's what I really felt God called me to do, was really lead a life of vocational ministry and disciple young men, tell people about Jesus. And I love doing that. It was about 4 years in, though, where one of the young men on my staff team, that he was actually a student that I discipled and came and began to work for our ministry. And about 4 years into that, it's when he came to me and said, Ellis, I don't have enough money this month to buy groceries. And we were fundraising everything we needed for our ministry at that time. And so we just were struggling, man. And I think it was just kind of a wake-up call. And I think up to that point, I kind of ran away from money. I didn't think I was a good steward of it. I just had seen what money had done to my family. But that was a turning point for me, where I realized like I was only really living half of my calling and focusing on what I can do with my time, but not with my money. And so long story short, it's where we learned about real estate. Took us about 4 months to buy our first deal, which was 2 units, another 9 months to buy our first 144 unit deal. And today we own over, more than $100 million of real estate, and I'm about to buy our biggest deal, which is a $48 million real estate deal. So we'll 50% our portfolio in the next
That's exciting.
Couple weeks. And yeah, man, we're multifamily investors. We see real estate as a vehicle to create wealth and freedom, but also an incredible ministry. When we buy a piece of real estate, we're not just buying a piece of income producing asset, we're buying homes and families. And we see it as a great opportunity to take care of our communities and take care of our tenants and really give them a great place to live and raise their family, man. So I love what I do. I love that we get to partner with investors. We have a ton of investors, over 65 investors that help us fund all of our real estate projects. And so, I never stopped being a pastor is what I like to say, but I'm probably also a better entrepreneur than I ever was pastor too. And so love what I do. And that's where we're at today.
Awesome, man. So, so I want to ask about your career because, remember I told you about the 7 kids with 7 different women that my dad had? Mm-hmm. Well, all of them, are like either doing drugs or not doing anything. And like me and my brother, like I'm the oldest one. And then there's another one, we're doing something. So like, I'm going to be throwing an event next year in Miami, either in Miami or Phoenix, Arizona. And it's going to be around modern gentlemen and real estate. Right. So like,
huh? Should do it in Miami, by the way.
Yeah. So my brother lives in Miami. So it's probably going to happen there. He just moved there. And it's going to be around modern gentlemen, building the man first, right? Building the man first, and then real estate, right? So it's going to be modern gentlemen real estate mastermind. I don't know, something like that. We'll still haven't come up with a name. I know what, not how, but that's going to come. And So I want to like dive a little bit deeper into like exactly what you do, you know, like how do you raise capital, investors and all of that. But before I do that, I want to ask about your two podcasts, man.
Honestly, man, my podcast was like you. Like I started my podcast shows to just get around great people. I was a young former college pastor and trying to build a real estate portfolio and didn't know what I didn't know. And I just think building a platform has been life-changing. I mean, you'll probably realize this the more you do this show is that, you know, you want to do a conference. Well, now you have 80, 90 contacts to go to, right?
Yeah.
So it really has been a life hack that I tell anyone trying to get started in any business, in any field, especially if you're, you know, trying to be an entrepreneur and you don't really have a network. You know, no one's really going to give you time. Like, you know, Alex, if you call me and say, hey, Ellis, I want to learn about real estate. Do you have 45 minutes? The reality is no. I mean, I really don't. That's why I told you, hey, man, I have a hard stop at 1:30 because I'm talking to a massive equity partner to help forward our business. Like, I really don't have 30 or 45 minutes. But the fact that you have a platform that we can get on and meet, and then I'm talking with you, but then you're going to share this with, you know, your whole audience, then I'm able to do both. You know what I'm saying? And so I think having a platform, man, has been honestly like an incredible life hack. I recommend anyone do the same thing and really replicate your model. It's brilliant.
Yeah, man, the biggest shift for me has been a shift in my identity. Like I'm not the same person that I was 6 months ago before interviewing over 80 successful real estate entrepreneurs. I mean, entrepreneurs, not just real estate, but yeah, it's been life-changing, man. And I'm achieving goals that I thought were going to take me 10 years. Like doing a mastermind event, like speaking in front of hundreds of people or thousands of people. I thought I was going to be doing that in 10 years, and I'm going to be doing that this year. I've gotten invited to speak at 4 events, and I'm going to be throwing my own event. And all of the 80 plus entrepreneurs that I've interviewed have said that they're willing to go and speak at my event.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, because you have a platform. If you didn't have a platform, that wouldn't be possible. You have a good story and you're passionate about what you're trying to accomplish. That's also probably as important. But those two things combined are pretty dangerous. Yeah.
I'm pumped, man. Thank you. So man, just teach me a little bit about you know, what you do. So like I'm focused on the building men side, right? And my brother is focused on the building on the real estate thing, right? And what we ultimately want to do is you know, have an investment fund to develop projects, right? And that's how far I am, right? Like my brother knows a little bit more about that, but that's how far I am. So how do you do it? Like, what is it that you do and how do you do it?
Yeah, we buy multifamily apartment buildings. So typically 150 to 200 units or more in great markets. I mean, I started with a duplex and learned that, like, you know, there's not enough margin there to really kind of grow something and get great help. And so what I teach my community, man, it's just easier to go bigger. So, I mean, I love the fund idea. I think it's a little bit harder to raise a fund early on because you don't really have a track record. In the fund, you're typically raising money for a concept versus if you're going to buy an asset or buy a plot of land, you can almost kind of sell that. And so that's what we started to do is we'll go out and find buildings, find stabilized, you know, apartment buildings. Right now we're buying a building in Dallas.
Hey, sorry for the interruption. Real quick, do you want to know how I've been using my podcast to build a multi-million-dollar network with over 100 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs? Reach hundreds of my ideal clients with my message, coaching, service, and podcast. Get invited to speak on 4 stages in the last 2 months alone. Throw my own events and have over 100 successful entrepreneurs being willing to speak at my events. Become a millionaire in 1 year. Get mentored by multimillionaires and achieve goals that I thought were going to take me 10 years to achieve in 1 year. And ultimately get unstuck and make quantum leaps of progress in my business and life with less than 1 hour of work just by being myself. If you answered yes to any of those, I just want to invite you to a free training showing you how I've been able to build a multi-million-dollar network that is helping me achieve bigger income goals faster with only 1 hour of speaking and just being myself. To be honest, I thought I was going to be a multi-millionaire, speak on stages, throw my own events, and live a successful, happy, and fulfilled life of growth and impact in 10 years from now. That seemed so far away, but my podcast has been able to help me do that in less than 6 months. I'm actually doing all of that this year at the age of 21 with my podcast. I'm reaching thousands of people with my message, my service, my podcast, my coaching. I've gotten booked to speak on 4 stages in the last 2 months. And on these stages, I'm going to be getting in front of hundreds of my ideal clients, making roughly around 15 to 30K plus per event. Not only that, I have a network of over 100 high-level, multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs who have all agreed to speak at my events. Getting clients is a problem of the past. I've gotten the opportunities to learn from billionaires, and I'm collapsing decades of time, and I'm literally achieving what I thought was going to take me 10 years to achieve in 1 year. All of this because I use podcasting as a networking tool, and I leveraged a rare concept called the cloak track. And I want the exact same thing for you. Just imagine where you could be in 1 year from now if you get this free training right now. That is why I'm inviting you to this training. On this short training, you're going to learn how a small group of purpose-driven entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, course creators, and speakers have combined podcasting with this rare concept called the cloak track to build a multi-million-dollar network, reach thousands of their ideal clients with their message, books, courses, coaching, make an extra $118,800, get booked on 10 stages, and build a successful network of entrepreneurs who speak on their stage. All of this in under 6 months. I'm going to walk you through the 4 steps to make this work. Step number 1, alignment. Getting clear on who you want to be, what you want to do, your goals, your purpose, and aligning all of this with building your podcast and your ideal podcast guest. Step number 2, leveraging the cloak track to find your ideal podcast guest and never running out of them. Step number 3, leveraging the cloak track to close an interview with anyone, no matter how rich, famous, or out of your league they may seem. And step number 4, the content machine. The content machine is the key to tapping into other people's audiences. And I'm going to show you all of those 4 steps. The link to access this free training is in the description of this video. Click on it and go watch this training right now so that you can learn how you can too build a multi-million-dollar network that helps you achieve bigger goals faster and with less effort. Note, this training is only available to 18 people, so act right now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode. Bye-bye.
And it's 96% occupied, but it's underperforming compared to the market. So we know we can go in there and increase revenue by 30 to 40% in the first 18 to 24 months. And the beautiful thing about large commercial real estate, much like any business, is that it's valued not based on the comparables like a single family house is. It's based on the revenue times divided by a cap rate, or times a multiple, essentially, right? So like any business would. And so that's exactly what we do. So we buy an underperforming building and we go in and we infuse capital into that project, or infuse operational experience into that asset, increase the revenue as we project it, and then we look to exit or refinance that deal. And so it's this is how we're building and creating wealth. It's how we're multiplying capital. We're protecting it by buying great real estate in great markets that are, hedges to inflation, protected against kind of economic cycles. And we have a predictable model to increase income because we know what rents can go for in a market. We're not projecting to the top of the market. We're saying, hey, we're seeing in the market where people are paying, we're going to go and achieve those rents in this asset. And over the next 2 to 3 years, look to have some type of capital event. And so that's pretty much our whole business model. We don't develop, we don't try and get creative. We just do the thing that's predictable, man. And I say you do that long enough that you can make a lot of money, and that's our goal. So, that's our whole business model at Symphony Capital.
So the last part, you exit, or what was the other option?
Yeah, we refinance the deal. So they'll lend to your bank, or your lender will now give you new debt based on the new value of that project, and then you can pull out the equity that you've created tax-free, which is just a massive incentive for real estate, right? Because anytime you have a capital event, most of the time you're going to pay taxes on that event. If you sell a deal, or you sell a stock or whatever, you have to pay taxes. However, we're just kind of taking out a new loan on the deal, and so we can pull out that equity completely tax-free. And that's a beautiful thing about real estate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And to buy this 150 unit or more apartment building, you leverage investors, right?
Yeah. We raise capital from investors. They typically own the lion's share of our deal, and they own, their pro rata share of everything. of income, of upside, of taxes, tax depreciation benefits. Um, so yeah, we're partners. However, in our structure, they're completely passive, so they don't have any risk in the sense that they don't have any liability. I shouldn't say they do have risk. They don't have any liability because they're not the one signing on the loan. I am.
Yeah.
So they're not. If they have $100,000 in the deal, then they're liable to their $100,000. Meaning, if
Mm-hmm.
project were to fail or whatever, they're liable to their $100K. But that's it. So they're not taking on the loan, and then they're completely passive in the deal. And so especially for entrepreneurs who their focus is making money or growing their business, but they know they should be in real estate. But I mean, dude, everyone knows
This
if
is how.
you go buy a piece of real estate, that's not like buying Tesla stock. Like, now you got to manage it, you got to make decisions on it. It's a lot, right? And most guys just don't want to do that. They rather invest it with us so they can just focus on their main income
100%.
stream, and we can grow
Instead of sitting on the bank doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
So how much is the least or most that someone can invest in with you with Symphony Capital?
Yeah, typically our average investor is about $100,000.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. I lost I got excited and I lost my track,
All good.
Let's see. Okay, cool, man.
Well,
And that's it.
you said you talked about development, and that's kind of what you guys want to do, which I think is wise. I mean, they're not building more land. I would say, though, like, this is a easier route. I mean, we don't have to take the development risk. We're cash flowing day one. We're in 2 to 3 years, it's going to take you to get the land, to get the permitting, do all of that. In 2 to 3 years, man, I'm in and out of the deal.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's why I think, especially early on, I think development is a great kind of long-term play, but I really like kind of value add real estate more than anything right now, especially when you're starting out, because it's a really easy way to get wins. And the more successes or the more wins that you have, the more that will attract capital, right? Bigger capital, more sophisticated capital. And the other thing I would say, man, like, go bigger as soon as you can. What I'm learning now in this 200 unit deal is that, because the margins are so good and because the deal is so big, I can bring on other people. Like, I can pay other people to go and find equity for me.
And keeping on going bigger.
Yeah. So I'm not necessarily relying on my own personal network anymore. Like, my own personal network is only so big, and, it's growing, of course, but if I want to go buy 4 of these deals this year, I'm going to run out of equity at some point. So I need somebody else or groups of people out shopping equity for me too. And so that's just been, man, it's been crazy to just kind of learn that. Wow. It actually is easier to go bigger. Like, it might be a little scary, and it does take some, kahunas to go, buy a deal like this. 'Cause I got to put down $500,000 of non-refundable money just to win the deal. But man, fortune favors the bold, dude. I'm really learning that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Alex Hormozy, I think, said that, it's the reason why it's easier to go bigger. It's because when you go bigger, there's like that attracts, a talent, like a player level talent. And when you go like small mom and pops type of thing, well, you only attract mom and pops, like people that are looking to work for mom and pops type of things. And when you go bigger, right, you attract this talent that allows you to go even bigger. And, it just keeps going from there. So
yeah, no, that's totally true. And I think the same thing goes with your dreams. Like, if your dreams are only benefiting, you're only dreaming big enough for yourself or your personal family. Honestly, I think it's easier to dream bigger because, exactly like you're saying, if no one else can fit inside your dream or fit inside your vision or benefit from your dream or your vision, then it's too small. Yeah. And honestly, it's less likely to get there.
Exactly.
Because you're the only one focused on it. Guess what, man? I have people all over the country right now focused on my goal, which is trying to buy this, close on this 200.
On your goal. Exactly.
Right.
Crazy, right? Yeah. So like, one of my podcast guests said this: think so big that other people's goals could fit inside of yours.
100%. Yeah. That was probably, he probably got that from me. No, I'm just kidding. I probably got that from him. But I'm so with you. It's right on.
Yeah, man. And like leadership, I got this from another of my podcast episodes. Like, leadership is all about like serving, right? Serving the people that you're leading. And when you have big like goals that are so big that their goals can fit inside of yours, then you're serving them, you're helping them achieve their goals, right? So it's pretty cool stuff. So man, we're almost out of time, and I remembered what I wanted to ask you. So like all of this that we talked about, right? Like investing and finding deals and investors and exiting and refinancing, all of this could be learned if we join, if anyone joins real estate, Kingdom Real Estate Investment Mastermind.
Well, yes and no. It takes a while. It takes a while, which I would say is why we've kind of built a community and coaching community around this. And if you are interested, and faith is an important part of your story, you want faith to be a part of your story as you're building this. Yeah, we built a community around this industry called Kingdom REI. I do a monthly free kind of webinar, which in full transparency is a 60-minute presentation of everything I've learned, or at the top 3 things I've learned on how to buy bigger deals. And I just kind of lay them out for you. And then it's a 30-minute invitation to say, hey, now that you know this, you could go do this on your own, or you could at least go attempt to do this on your own. But if you want someone in a community around you to do that, here's a little bit more about our Kingdom REI.
No brainer, right? Like that's literally
dude, I spent 6 figures last year on coaching, mentorships, and masterminds. Do you think I would have been able to buy a $48 million deal a year ago if I wouldn't have spent six figures on myself? No. Why do I care about 6 figures when I'm going to make 7 or 8 figures from this one deal? I don't, right? And I think that's what, spend it with me or spend it with someone else, or you're going to spend it in time, or you're going to spend it in effort, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's the real key. So, it's exactly what you're doing, man. You're spending it in time right now, interviewing all these guys, doing all this. Like that's money, this is time well spent for sure. But I think that's the trade-off. And, I want access to things. I think, man, I'll leave your audience with this. Pay for access and speed, because life is short. And
life is so short, man.
It goes by so fast, man. And money is just a tool to really help you accomplish the dreams that we're talking about. And so, I think so many people are trying to trade time and effort for money, and not enough people are trading money for time and speed, or time and relationships.
Damn.
And that's the ticket, man. Money is just a tool, not the destination. Relationships and time are the destination. Because when you have relationships and then you have time, you're a dangerous man. You're a dangerous man. So that's been really key for me. And I honestly have to learn that at everything, because honestly, the farther you go, the more expensive it gets, right? So 6 figures looks light now. I'm like, I need to go spend more than that. So it's never, I'm always relearning this. So, if 10K is your only decision right now to go, I don't know how much your conference is going to be, you're going to talk about, but I'm sure you'll do a VIP, and I'm sure it'll be $3 or $4 grand to be a part of that. Someone's listening or someone sees that. All the people that you've put on this podcast show, who are coming in ready to invest into your people, dude, that would be, and if all I had was $3,000 or $4,000, I would spend it, man.
Yeah.
Because $3,000 or $4,000 will never get you to your destination. Realize that?
Mm-hmm. No.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's never enough. So like, you might as well just get rid of it now to get you closer to your destination and figure out how to go make another. Because 3 or 4K will never get you there.
Awesome, man. Man, I really appreciate that. The wisdom that you dropped in the last 20 minutes. So we're gonna get access to the monthly free webinar and to everything that you got going.
Yeah, so our real estate company is symphonycapitalgroup.com, symphonycapitalgroup.com. And then that webinar is oneconnectionaway.com. There's a lot of meaning behind that domain, One Connection Away.
Tell me.
Well, everything in my life has been as a result of a connection. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Relationships are everything. And most people are making decisions about their future based on their current network. When if they realized what was possible, if they just made another connection, right? If they realized how much bigger their goals could be, if they simply dude, 6 months ago, I'd never been able to buy a 200 unit deal, but I made a couple connections in the last 6 months that elevated me, right? So that's it, man. And then, dude, I'm everywhere. Big thing I'm trying to promote right now is my YouTube. So if folks are on YouTube, go to Ellis Hammond and follow me. I'm trying to put out good content for investors to help them think bigger and grow their portfolio. would love the support there.
Awesome, man. I'm actually like, that's why I'm podcasting, right? Like there's four currencies of the world: money, knowledge, time, and relationships. And podcasting gives you all four. At least I've been able to get all those four. I've been able to make money. I've been able to gain knowledge, collapse time. Like I'm achieving goals that I thought was going to take me 10 years. And I have relationships that I'm going to be able to like leverage and use for the rest of my life. It was great talking to you, man. I really appreciate you, and see you later. God bless you, man.
Yeah, I would add one more to your currency. I would say attention is now a currency.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
And that's a big one, right? Because
Yeah.
if you have people's attention like you're getting right now, that's another currency. And so anyways, man, much love to you, brother. Respect. I'm excited to see kind of how this goes, and let me know about that conference coming up.
All right, man. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Appreciate
God
you.
bless.